Hello, everyone. It's so good to see you. Welcome to What's New and Coming Up with Lipedema. We go live every Friday at this time. For me, it's 2:30 Mountain. I think, Siobhan, you're on 2:30 Mountain.
Yep,
Usually call it 4:30 Eastern, but, Siobhan and I are both on Mountain Time. So we're coming to
we're
you.
running this baby today. We get to pick the time zone.
Exactly. We're in our time zone today. And not only are we in mountain time, but we're in the mountains. So, or close to the mountains or next to the mountains or something. I can see the ski slopes from my house. So,
I can see the mountains from my balcony. It's nice.
yeah, see there? So we're in the mountains and we're in mountain time. So we have a lot of things that we want to talk to you about today. Um, if you're online with us, I know there's a few of you on there. Oh, you've got an ambulance going by.
Yep, not uncommon. All hours of the day and night.
Yep. So it's just background noise. I'm Gail Straker. I'm the community manager for Lipedema Simplified, and I'm here today with my absolutely dear friend, and I guess colleague too. I guess we're colleagues, Siobhan Huggins. Siobhan, will you introduce yourself?
I suppose. I'm Siobhan. I'm the research specialist with the Lipedema Project. So I read stuff, I write stuff, I present stuff, I talk about the stuff that I write and present on, and I participate in fun experiments. And then I talk
Yeah,
about
you do participate in fun experiments. You're like you're a mad scientist, Siobhan.
my
A
dream
mad.
is to have like a bunch of different themed outfits like Miss Frizzle, and then whenever I'm talking about a specific topic, I can just be like decked out. That's my dream.
You wear your cells, your chemical. I'm
I
talking like
have yeah, I have ketone earrings, I
you
have
do.
an insulin dress, so I'm getting there slowly over time.
One outfit at a time. Well, it's just so good. So if you're in the audience today with us, please put in that you're here. Right now, we see 20, but there's only one name, and it's Marilee. And Marilee is from the wonderful Pacific Northwest, just that direction from me, that way. Um, and and it's always good to see you. So please make sure you tell us where you're from, so we know just how far our reach is. Makes us happy to see people who come from a long ways away, like it's some special thing. Um, and so, anyways, we're going to get started today by telling you what we have been up to. So, Renette is here from Anchorage, and Sherry Sharf is also here. And I want to say some of the things we've been up to in April. We had a wonderful event, a 3-day heart to heart event. We're still kind of feeling all happy and excited about our event. But as we finished that event, because it was all about nutrition and what next steps that we're going to take. But it talked about nutrition in many ways. I mean, we talked about nutrition we had Brian Wiley with us, and he talked about how to do nutrition on a dime, on it, or half a dime, get you on your pennies, because sometimes we look at nutrition as being expensive. Um, and we had um, Dr. Georgia Eid, talk about. I'm going to let you say. Tell me what Georgia Eid talked about, Siobhan, since she's your dear friend.
Yeah, Georgia Ede was talking about the connection between nutrition and mental health. So she talked a lot about metabolic psychiatry, which is where we use practices that influence metabolism, including nutrition, but also sleep and walking and activity and things like that to influence mental health. But then also, she talked about the brain in a really cool way, which is looking at what the brain needs to be healthy, so DHA and all of these other nutrients and stuff, and then how we can formulate a way of eating to help support the brain if it's struggling, or even just in our everyday for a little bit more mental resiliency as we deal with the many things we deal with as people with lipedema.
Right. And another, and so those are two different dimensions to nutrition. And another dimension on nutrition was um, brought up by Peter Ballerstedt. And
Hmm.
I think the way you describe how the cutest of all, um, Peter, and he's cute. Um, he's just a very delightful man. And the way you spoke about him really made me smile. So will you tell us about um, Peter's topics and what he does?
Yeah, so Peter Bauerstedt is an agronomist, which means he deals with cattle raising and all of everything that goes into the prairie, basically. And what he was talking about was how improving our health does contribute to a healthier world as well, but then also ruminants' place in soil health and planetary health. So, how we can integrate eating healthier for ourselves and eating healthier for the planet, and how those two actually often don't conflict with each other, which is very happy news. If you're worrying about yourself and worrying about the planet and everybody else, it's a sigh of relief to see hope on the horizon. And just recently, actually, I started going back to the local farmers market here. So I've been able to connect with a rancher who offers a meat share on like a monthly basis that's based in regenerative agriculture, so really focused on helping soil health and all of that stuff. So in like Peter's contribution is really helpful because like it's another dimension of thinking about nutrition, about how can we help the world, because as soon as we help ourselves, the next question is how do I help somebody else. And I think this is an important part of that, of how do we keep our planet going and make sure our food is good for us and everybody else as well.
Right. And I often think about how, when we have to take care of ourselves, we have to take care of our families, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when our family is healthy, then our community gets healthier. And so it grows out. And so I mean, and it's not just for like nutrition, but it's if I'm calmer as a parent or a grandmother, then the children and the grandchildren have the opportunity to be calmer and to live a calmer life. And then our community,
Mm-hmm.
so more loving I am, the more loving my family is, the more loving my community is. And so it just continues, the circles go. And it's the same way with nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
And um, and Peter brought that to us. Now, why am I talking about nutrition? There's got to be a catchphrase here, right? I'm talking about nutrition because on Wednesday, let's see, Wednesday the first of May. That's a very special day, May Day. Anyway, so
Mayday.
on the first of May, we are going to have a free webinar, and this free webinar is about nutrition. It's jump starting your nutrition plan. It's on Wednesday, May 1st at 7 p.m. Eastern, not Mountain, Eastern. And Carrie Reedy, she's a medical nutritionist. She will be there. And Gail Straker, that's me, the community manager. I'll be there. And I am certified with the Noakes Foundation as a nutrition coach. Right now, my focus is on community manager. However, I do some nutrition coaching as well. So we're going to have this free webinar, and you're asking yourself, I can tell the audience is asking themselves, how do I register for this free webinar? How do I get it? And I'm going to tell you. You're going to reach over here into the chat, and you are going to click on the link. Now, if that link for some reason doesn't work, try again tomorrow. I'm only telling you this because
If the link doesn't work, just remember the date. Just say to yourself, 1st of May, 1st of May, nutrition webinar starts today.
oh, I love it. 1st of May. Oh, I know somebody who could actually sing a song about that.
Me
Hello,
too.
hello, Joko. Anyway, um, yeah, we have the same. We like kind of like the same musician. Yeah. Um. So, anyways, um. So we wanted to talk about this nutrition jumpstarting our nutrition. And we're going to follow that by inviting you to take a course that we call we call it a CSIG. It's an acronym that stands for Coaching Special Interest Group. And you won't be able to get that link yet because we need to get through the free webinar first, so that you can then later join a smaller special interest group that has coaching as a component. So that's what what's coming up. Another thing that we have been doing, and Siobhan had her fingers all over this one, is I had no fingers on it. I had not me. I didn't want to. I could have, but it would have been a totally different paper. It's called the Proposed Framework for Research Case Definitions for Lipedema. Let me read that again because that didn't come out right. Oh, I'll tell you what, Catherine and Leslyn let us do this by ourselves, and this is what you get. Um, you get us giggling. Anyways, the proposed framework for research case definitions of lipedema. This was written. The first author on this paper is Dr. Leslyn Keith and Catherine Sayo, and then somebody. Listen to me. Siobhan's one of the authors, and Dr. Roxon's one of the authors. And this paper is going to make a huge difference. And I know that, and Siobhan knows it. But Siobhan, because she is one of the authors, she knows more about it than I do. So, Siobhan, will you talk about this paper that we just got published?
Yeah, so in case you don't know what a case definition is, because I didn't a few years ago, to be fair. A case definition is basically a description of a disease or a disorder for the purposes of research. So basically, when you do a study, you need to know what someone with the disease is. So what counts? Like what symptoms do they have to have? What do they need to encapsulate in order to be included into the research? And that's also important because you need to know who to exclude. Like typically you have a control group in some types of studies, and you need to make sure that that control group does not have any of the people you're trying to study in it. So they need to be a clean group so that you have two separate people and then you can compare against them. And the case definition basically outlines what we think should be defined as lipedema for research purposes. But what's really cool is that the descriptions in the paper are also useful for if your doctor doesn't know what counts as lipedema. So maybe they are comfortable with diagnosing, maybe not. It's entirely up to where they feel comfortable. But if they do give a read through this paper, they may be better able to recognize it in patients. And then at that point, potentially they could diagnose or they could refer to a specialist. So it also helps in that because there's a huge issue with a lot of doctors don't even know what lipedema is. And reading through this paper may be beneficial in that regard, just to catch them up to speed. These are the kind of agreed upon symptoms. Here's some additional evidence that people might have. And then once you have that knowledge, you tend to start looking at people like, maybe I should go talk to that person. So that's happened even just talking to doctors offhand of what lipedema is. Then they start saying, I need to go schedule an appointment with so-and-so patient to have a little chat about this. So we're hoping that this paper will be really useful for those two things, the research, but then also the patient population in terms of diagnosing and recognition and all of that good stuff. So if you haven't already, I'd highly recommend giving it a read through. And if you have any questions, the authors are right here, happy to help answer anything.
And isn't that wonderful? If you have any questions, you can actually talk to the authors because you have Leslyn available, Catherine's available, Siobhan's available right here at Lipedema Simplified. And that makes it even a more valuable tool so that you get the clearest understanding. If you're a clinician, come talk to, and you have questions, talk to one of the authors. Not only that, is this particular paper was published in such a way that it is open access. That means you do not have to be a member of a society or a group. You don't have to have a membership to a journal. You can get a hold of this paper simply by clicking on the link that I just put in the um, the chat. You can copy paste that link into an email, into my chart. You can get this to all of your clinicians and ask them to share it if they're interested in it. You can print it out. You can put it in a file. You can do whatever you want with this paper to make sure that people that you love, who love you, who care for you, who you go to see, gets this information. Um, Now, when I'm talking about this paper, you have to understand, if you haven't seen it yet, it is not just a bunch of words. It's a beautiful paper. It has pictures, and that makes me happy. It has examples, and that makes me happy because so often as a layperson, I get sucked into a paper and pretty soon I don't understand what it's saying. I need pictures. I'm still at that stage. I need pictures and diagrams and things because I'm visual. So the layperson can understand it.
Yeah,
You know,
so that's actually something I'm pretty happy about is that we have gotten comments back that even for people who aren't used to reading papers, they were able to read through it and get a lot of valuable information, which is one of the most difficult parts of science is communication. Like you can go into the weeds for hours and hours, but if you come back out of them and nobody knows what you just said, it's not very helpful. So hopefully other people agree that this is easy to understand and follow, at least the highlights. And we'll be having lots more discussion on this paper as we go throughout the year. So if you do have questions, you can come to the Facebook Lives. You can contact us by email. You can contact us through Tribe. Anything, we're happy to talk about it for hours and hours and hours and hours.
and ours. Remember what Siobhan said she does. Siobhan reads things, writes things, does experiments, and then she talks about them for hours and hours. This is what Siobhan does. And that's why she is a research specialist. I mean, and she nerds out about them. And it's quite wonderful. This is kind of one of the things that we do. We nerd out about things, don't we? Every time we
Mm-hmm.
get together, you never know it's going to come up. So please, please, and I want to say this is what a wonderful thing from Marcia to have put this up there. Hi, Marcia. Isn't it isn't it wonderful to have all that expertise at our fingertips? Yes, it's a wonderful thing for us. And I don't know how many of you have that available to you with other things that you deal with, where you have experts. And we're fortunate because we do. We have we have the authors, the experts, and these authors that you can reach out to easily enough with Catherine, Leslyn, and Siobhan. Um, they have a lot of connections with other experts, and so it's quite amazing that we have that um, capability at our fingertips. So
Yeah, and it goes both ways too. So you guys talking to us helps influence our research and what we're interested in and what we want to learn about and get more information for you guys on. So it's a two-way street, which ends up being really helpful.
well, and that's one of the reasons that this paper was written is because the community has been saying we need something, but they've been saying it for years.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so first of all, I put my email address in there, and we can talk for hours and hours. I don't know if I can talk about the papers for hours and hours. And let me grab Siobhan's email so that you can see it real quick. Let me put that up too. Um, I'm sorry, it's over here in my slide bar. I gotta find her.
We have like 50 different things on the back end, just in case you guys are curious.
Yeah, I've got this whole list of stuff. So this is Siobhan's email, And as soon as you guys get that written down, I'll put it in the chat. But so she works with Lipedema Project. So Siobhan, Siobhan at lipedemaproject.org. So if you're taking notes, go ahead and write that down. And if you're doing the whole click, copy paste stuff, or click on something, I'm going to put that into the chat. Marsha Black loves your sweatshirt, Siobhan.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, she always wears some fun stuff.
I try
So,
to mainly compose my wardrobe of fun things. If I don't enjoy wearing it, it gets gone.
yeah, isn't that weird? I must enjoy wearing black t-shirts. What do you think?
Hey, that's legit. That's completely fair.
This t-shirt has a heart and butterflies on it. See? So it always has something cool on it. The sweatshirt I wore earlier today was yellow. It said beef and butter and bacon and eggs, the proper human diet, because I eat beef and butter and bacon and eggs. Anyway, so you see, oh, Marcia says black is so slimming. You sound like my mom. Yes, you know what, Marcia, you're right. She says be sure to like this chat because we have to support the channel. Look at that. I've got myself a support. I got myself a cheerleader. Marcia, I do. So does Siobhan. We got ourselves a I love you, Siobhan. And Sing It wants to know, are you a minimalist? Um, Siobhan is.
I'm a maximalist.
Um,
Maximum pleasure, maximum yarn, maximum
yeah,
fun sweatshirts, maximum tea, as much maximum as I can get.
you are a maximalist. I'm not a minimalist. I'm a
A min maxer. You
I'm a,
minimize things you don't want anything to do with as much as possible, and you
oh
maximize the things you do like as much beef and butter and eggs as you want.
yes, but so I think a minimalist would have one hoodie because that's all you
Probably,
need.
yeah.
Well, that's all that minimalist would need. But I have a hoodie problem. There are not enough hoodies in the world. I do not have all of them. I do not have space to store the ones I already have, and I'm wanting more. I have a hoodie problem.
Hoodies are
And
just so good. Like, I don't know. I don't think that's a problem. I think that's just reasonable.
yes, I mean it's just and I wear a hoodie. I won't wash it until I really have to because I love a fresh hoodie. And when it's no longer fresh, I'll like fluff it. And when it just gets to that point where Aunt Sandy hugs me and goes, "Oh," then I go wash my hoodie and I put on my fresh hoodie. and and
That's
it's
why you
nice,
need as many hoodies as possible so that they're at the
right,
ready.
right. And I took a picture of my hoodies to show somebody, and then because I was cleaning out my closet, and I washed all my hoodies because they were kind of like I hadn't been wearing these anyway, so they were a little stale. So I fluffed them all up and everything, and got them all unstinky. And I took a picture. I stacked them, and I took a picture of them, and I sent it. I sent this to my friend, and my friend's like, "Hey, where's your purple hoodie and your yellow hoodie? Don't you have like 4 green hoodies and a brown one?" I'm like, "Oh, where are those? Oh, those are in the other stack in my closet."
Oh my goodness, you have multiple hoodie stacks. That's
I
like me
do.
and multiple yarn stashes. I've got some in the ottoman there. I've got some there. I've got some there. I've got some right next to me. I've got some under here, actually. I forgot about that.
So there was a question: are we minimalists?
No.
And I said yes. No, we're not. Okay, this is not a lipedema conversation. But in this in this comments we're getting, I like the zip up hoodies. I wear a pullover hoodie. I'm a pullover hoodie girl, and I always tie my strings in a particular knot so that the string continues to go down.
Mm.
I do not. My husband's a tuck the strings into the collar. Ah, I'm a anyway. So Ruth Gaza is addicted to hoodies too. And hoodies are the best. It's just we're gonna have to have a lipedema um, hoodie work. And then here's Sherry. Sherry says, "I'm so glad you ladies are doing such important work."
Important hoodie work. But
Oh, it's funny.
what she's
It is
actually
so
pointing out, she just recently learned about lipedema with her own self-diagnosis at 55 years old, and I've been in the medical field for over 30 years.
wow.
So that is not uncommon a story on either side in terms of the medical professional side or the self-diagnosis side. In 50s, 60s, 70s, see it all the time. But it just goes to show how much work there is to do in terms of
Yeah,
awareness, because it should be someone walks in, hey, my legs are heavy, hey, let's talk more about that.
right.
Let's I have trouble wearing boots, let's talk about that, what's going
You
on
know,
there, let's investigate a little bit.
it's really interesting because we talk about how, oh, my legs are heavy. There's something wrong with my legs. And I used to think, this is my life. I used to think when I first joined in with the lipedema crowd, we're now a gang, the lipedema gang.
Mm-hmm.
People would talk about, I knew there was something with wrong with my legs forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I would think, I didn't know that what my legs were doing, how they were feeling was wrong. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for
I
sure.
think they
Because
were just
I
my
was the
legs.
same. For me, it was like after I had gone keto and lost a bunch of weight, it was much smaller, but my arms were still big. And in my head, I was just like, it's just how they are. I don't know. It's just what they do. They just do their own
Right,
thing.
right. And I would I would always, I walk slow. I walk a lot slower than a lot of the people that I walk with. They have to wait for me, or they have to put me in the front so they don't kill me because I can't keep up with them, and I'll just give out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my husband used to say, "You take the shortest steps," and I realized it's because it wasn't until I realized I had lipedema that it's because my legs don't have the normal swing, right? My
Mm.
I have to do this. I have to do this whittle waddle thing to get my legs to go in the right, and it's exhausting. And they're heavy, and they were concrete. They were bags of concrete, and then I would always, so I was dealing, but I always just thought it was me.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there was a time when my legs hurt from standing in the kitchen, and I went and I took my legs to the doctor, and they looked them all over, and I had already had my greater saphenous veins done. That was many years before. And they said they did an ultrasound on my legs. They said, your legs are just fine. Nothing wrong with them. And I'm like, but it hurts when I stand up it hurts when I stand a lot, and I showed him, like, I had bone fatigue, and it simply
Mm-hmm.
was because, and this is what I think, we all have different types of pain. Lipedema pain is not one size fits all.
Mm-hmm.
And those of us with lipedema knows one size fits all is not the truth of anything, right? Because one size does not fit all. And don't try to. So, is, is that you?
Yeah. It is, yes, people and their car alarms. But Fiona in the chat said, without different sizes, you would have to get a new wardrobe when you fluctuate and too expensive.
Oh,
So she was talking about actual clothing, but I think that works for management protocols as well. Like you need to have different sizes for I'm feeling more swollen today, I'm feeling this way today, I'm feeling that way today. That's not working for me. I want to do this thing. Have all the different options as much as possible, and then however much you fluctuate, you can just pull that out of your tool belt or your closet or whatever, and you're good to go.
Right. And that conversation started with Stina because Stina was saying that she's more accepting of her closet size ranges now that she understands she has lipedema,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, and that's when Fiona said that. Let's see. I'm going back through here. Uh, when Etta said, um, "True, Stina, I'm trying to downsize, but my baseline lipedema equipment puts me over the top before even considering the clothes." Right? So
Mm-hmm.
we have a lot of things that we have. Those who are not minimalists, who are just mini maximalists, because we have so many things to take care of ourselves. Um, let's see. I'm. Oh, Fiona has a 20-year-old wardrobe, so she can mix and match her favorites, including one old. I'm thinking that meant hoodie, which is funky. I, Mary Lee wants to know what's wrong with the yarn stash.
Nothing as
Nothing.
far as I can tell. It means even if I went like 4 years with zero money, I'd be perfectly fine. I would have my hobby perfect. Wouldn't have to worry at all.
So, um, and then I'm going to do two more, and then we're going to keep talking about stuff. So, Sing It says, "Yep, you let me be. I'll let you let me be me. I'll let you be you." I can't read this.
It says, "You let
You.
me buy, I'll let you buy. Let me buy, I'll let you buy." So she's
Oh,
talking about her gait as she walks. She's got to do
that's what her
the.
thighs are saying to each other.
Mm-hmm.
You let me buy. I'll let you buy. I love it. Damn
It's the
thigh.
lipedema dance.
Oh, I can just picture my thighs talking to each other. Okay. Okay, let's get serious. Sherry says, "I work with thousands of pregnant women all over the world. I am so excited to get the help I need and then help so many other women.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you." So often this shows up during pregnancy, between pregnancies, puberty, after they've had their baby and a year out, they're going, "What just happened to my body?" We do know that it affects so many women, and we know it affects those of us who've gone through intense hormonal events. Um, whether it's, I think everything we can figure out that there's something in there's a hormonal connection.
Mm-hmm.
Siobhan, is that part of the framework?
So it's mentioned, especially in terms of it being primarily women that we see it pop up in. I would say that's definitely a portion that needs more research done to see what exactly is changing. But what would be helpful is if we can diagnose like super, super, super early and then track people over time for when these hormonal shifts happen and then see what actually is different before and afterwards. That would help our understanding a lot, I think. So it's
Yeah,
definitely something that people notice in terms of triggers. It's something that's been commented on in the literature, but we still don't fully understand why it's happening because hormones influence a ton of stuff. They influence the immune system, how our fat grows, where it grows, um, the connective tissue, and the flexibility of it. So, and let's see, I just saw Stina said that she just saw on Ben Bickman's YouTube channel about lipedema. He did a metabolic classroom, he calls it, about lipedema. So he was talking about how he's looked into it and his kind of perspective on it. So I would go recommend watching that because he has an interesting perspective as a fat researcher. He called himself, and then had to explain a researcher who researches fat.
Say, the last time I saw him, he wasn't a fat researcher.
No, but he does research fat. He loves fat, so it was really cool to see his perspective. Because even at COSI in Las Vegas, people were going up and being like, "So have you thought about lipedema?" And apparently, he's thinking about lipedema. So I always
And
appreciate more voices thinking and talking about it. It's always helpful.
and I have to thank you, Siobhan, because the COSI was March 16th, 15th and 16th, something like that. Anyway, it was in March. Siobhan, Leslyn, and I all were able to go and attend. Siobhan presented the exogenous ketone project that we had worked on, and Ben Bickman was there. And I know that, Siobhan, you being in the low carb community as a presenter and as a researcher and a person that they're respecting and listen to. I mean, otherwise they wouldn't have you present, right? If they weren't going to listen to you. Well, no, they you listen to the people who present, and you go to a lot of low carb um, conferences. And once you found out you had lipedema, you started talking about it. Once
Mm-hmm.
you found lipedema simplified. And now we're starting to hear about it more from the low carb community because they use nutrition. They teach about nutrition as a treatment or a therapeutic way to gain our health back, because that's the thing that the low carb community is all focused on. We always
Mm-hmm.
think, oh, low carb and keto diets, losing weight, but it's all about gaining our best health that we can gain. And so for people to start talking about fat. Now, when you said that Ben Bickman loves fat, that's that warms my heart that someone can love fat and talk about fat and how it works, because we're humans and we all have fat.
Yeah,
And it's
humans, particularly above many, many, many other species, are reliant on fat. So, Amber O'Hearn is another person who loves fat, and she talks about humans as lipivores, how we evolved our special relationship with ketogenic metabolism, how we grew our brains as we were evolving. It's fat. Like, it comes down to a lot of fat. Even as apes, we are the fattiest apes ever because we need so much fat to fuel our brain. Babies are super fat as little children. Even like comparing to other animals, babies are way fatter. Like, they're obese, but it's healthy and good for them to have all of that. So, humans in particular, it's so funny that we view fat so negatively, and we judge it and we pinch it and we look at it and we frown at it, when it's why we can have a yarn stash or hoodies or anything, a lawnmower, a car. Like,
right,
our brains love fat.
right. And our fat has a purpose. I mean, our fat creates hormones, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And it sends signals all through our body. It sends signals to our brain. Hey, I've got some fat for you. I've got fuel. Oh, you do? Here, I'll take some of that. And the next thing you know, the brain's going, hey, I want you to, send me some more of those hormones. And so, we talk about our fat as being this like energy source, but it's more than just a bucket of grease. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's an endocrine organ. It's an incredibly complex endocrine organ. It helps the immune system. It helps us. Even during like the beginnings of female puberty, some of the important signals is that you have sufficient fat before anything else happens. So it's important on like every single level. Even like the leanest male athlete, super low body fat percentage, way fatter than you're ever going to see on a gorilla or a chimp, because that's just how important it is to as human beings.
Right, right. And we, because we're very socially visual and and our fat is a little different now than it used to be in our society. It used to be there was times when a woman with full hips and thighs, I mean, the men would line up for her, and then Miss Twiggy came around and way before yours or my time. And, and then, it was a woman has to have a particular look. And then next thing you know, women are in straight up and down pantsuits trying to look like men. Excuse me, we're women. We have a different fat storage than men do. We have different needs biologically than men do. Men don't need the fat in their system, in their bodies, to be able to make it through a famine like women do and still bear children. And that's our whole system. We still need fat, but men need fat as well, or their brains wouldn't. What am I talking about? Their brains wouldn't work. So
Even their hormones wouldn't work. But yeah, and I feel like we're reaching this place where it's like pantsuits or dresses or skinnier side or whatever it is, curvier side, like especially in the low carb community, I like the focus on health. Like, are you healthy? Perfect. You're doing great. Wonderful. Who cares what configuration you're at that point? And it's not everybody, but I feel like it's more and more just focusing on health and can you do what you want to do? Like that's what my mom always tells me. Like, I don't care like how thin you are, how muscular you are. Can you do what you want to do, and can you continue to do that through your old age? Because ultimately, that's really the only thing that matters anyway.
right. And many of us have a a lower level of health. And for many of us who have dealt with so many things, we would like some of those things to get healthy, those areas to get healthier. We may never become, I mean, I know I'm not ever going to be 20 again. I'm never going to live my life like I'm 20. Oh, God forbid. Um, but I can be as healthy as I can be today,
Mm-hmm.
right? And and that's the focus. That's the focus of the low carb community. It seems like now, and it's the focus of Lipedema Simplified, to
Yeah,
be as
to get
healthy as you
out of
can
bed,
be.
have energy, eat food that makes you happy and ready for the day, to get through the day without pain or as little pain as possible, to just be able to get through your daily life and have energy at the end of the day. That is what I hope for everybody. And
Right.
it's what we hope to provide you guys to be able to do, to have the knowledge to navigate that and get closer and closer to it as much as we can.
Yeah. And that's why we have these live broadcasts. We had we got on here together today. We had all these things we were going to talk about. We talked about hoodies, hoodie stashes, and fat. Which, hey, that's so cool. But if you love our broadcasts, our live broadcasts, and you used to get an email that said, "Hey, this is going live," and you're not getting that email anymore, there's a place you can get not only this one as a replay, but all of our other ones that since we made the calendar and the ones coming up. And I'm going to put our calendar of events in the chat. And let me show you what it looks like as a as on the banners. As far as I find that button. You know those registers, the new registers in the grocery store, where it's all like you have to find the whole picture of the whole meal before you
Mm.
button, or you got to go through each one. Anyway, I say grocery store. It's not a grocery store. It's the restaurants when you watch the people try to find where your iced tea is or whatever. I don't know if we got iced tea. Just push the button. Anyway, that's what it is back here on my side. I don't know why I'm talking this way, because I'm thinking and talking at the same time, and that's
Oh, I do it all the time, especially during work, like trying to write an email and talk at the same time never works.
right.
One gets crossed over with the other, one gets abandoned. Juanetta said strength training is her new focus area. She needs to change up the body composition with more muscle mass.
Right.
And I know
I'm
I saw another mention of that. Yeah, Sing It also said that she needs to start weight training too. I've actually been working on that the past few weeks, so we're all in it together, you guys.
That's so cool. I bought ankle weights, and
Ooh.
of course, my kid laughed at me.
What do you need ankle weights for?
Where are you gonna use ankle weights, Mom? You're not gonna believe where I'm gonna use.
Where are you
I
gonna
think
use them?
I'm gonna use them in the swim spa
Oh, that's cool.
because I can't keep my feet afloat. So
You'll
I'm
have to
gonna,
report back and let us know how that works, because that's actually like a common issue that people comment on. But we do know that like doing those standing exercises in the pool can be really helpful for swelling and getting that fluid up and out. So yeah, that might be a handy
well,
Yale tip here.
I can put them together because they're strips. They're 5 pounds each, and I thought, oh, that's not very much. Yeah, it
My
is.
friend is kind of heavy.
They're heavy. It's like, oh, it's like having my feet in concrete. So I bought myself concrete ankle weights because I didn't have enough concrete in my legs, you know. So I'm gonna I can actually put the straps together so I can lay them this way. So I'm gonna try to use them 2 different ways. So if I'm sitting because it's a swim spa, so it only goes to my waist. So if I'm sitting down and I want to maybe do some leg kicks or whatever, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna lay I'm gonna lay the ankle weights as a pad over my knees
Mm.
so that I don't starting to do because that's what happened. Oh, there I go. I tip over, right? Because the bottom floats. So, whoop, I'm a
Yeah, I
bobber.
might have to get some too, because the community pool is about to open back up again. And I really like the pool exercises because it's less like I just feel more energetic afterwards as opposed to resistance training where it's a little bit more tired. Probably because it's just helping support that lymphatics, and combining like weight training and the pool is something I've been wondering about but wasn't sure how to do it. So I might have to try that.
Okay, so yeah, and this is what Fiona says about if you're in the pool to stop floating in the pool. If you are horizontal, then consciously drop, push hips so legs about 45 degrees rather than 90. Yeah, and what when I used to, when I took swimming class and we were in the deep well, I would we would have water treading contest to see who could tread water longest. And I would just be out there, and every now and then I'd give a kick. And I was always the last one in the pool. And so when that happened, then the instructor was like, okay, you're cheating. I'm like, I can't sink. And she's like, okay, so now you've got to put your hands up.
Mm.
I'll tell you what, you put your hands up, you go down because my my arms float too. So center of gravity changes and whoo, down I would go. Um, there's so many ways, but like Winetta said, she got a water weight kit. Now, Winetta, are those weights or are they the water aerobic type things? So you have dumbbells that are foam. So when you push them through
Mm.
the water, those are wonderful. I've always liked my water aerobic. I call them weights, but they're pretty much they're resistant type weights. Um, and let's what else was there? There's like there hand there's paddles, hand paddles where so when you can you can do it this way and there's a lot of different both. Okay, yeah. It's really kind of neat. Those of us who, you know, what is it? It's May. No, it's not. It's April.
It's almost
Almost
May.
almost May. And the outdoor pools are going to start opening up.
Hmm.
At least here in the northern hemisphere, are going to start opening up mid-May, end of May. And oh, Juanetta says she got a weighted belt, foam hand weights. Yeah. Um, Tamara says you can use like water bottles, empty water bottles to try to push down as well.
Hmm.
Um, there's so many things that we can use. Pool noodles, the long ones that I mean, you get them for $2 or whatever. You can use those in the pool. One a great thing to do is to, if you need to, you can sit on them and kick this way. If you get one and you hook them this way, you can put them around your top, and then you can kick behind you. So there are a lot of different things that you can use in the pool to make it more fun. I love my water aerobic gloves because they're like, they're neoprene, and you put your hands in them, they hold your hands like this. And so I can really cup the water. I feel the workout through here. Um,
Mm. Now I'm looking forward to the pool opening even more.
yeah. Now,
I was so sad when it closed. It's like, no, I'll take the snow. I want to do it outside anyway.
yeah, and when you think about the pool, I want to speak for Jeannie Lewis. She's
Mm.
always bringing this up. When you go shopping for a pool, if you're on Medicare, they might actually pay for a pool membership for you, or a YMCA membership, so that you can use the pool. But when you get to the pool, there's a couple things you have to remember. You have to be able to get in and out of that pool. So when you go into the pool, the bars need to be able to be where you need to be able to step into the pool, unless you're a cannonballer. And if you're a cannonballer, go for it, right? But it's getting out, especially after you've worked out. Your legs might not be as stable coming out. And Jeannie noticed that the handrails don't go out far enough. So
Mm.
in some pools, she can't make that last step out of the pool. And it's hard, if you have to use your cane to get in and out of the pool with, but she couldn't make the last step. She finally found a pool that the handrails go out far enough so she could actually get out of the pool. Some pools, depending on where it is, they don't have steps. They have like the ladder cut into the side, right? I remember Fiona showing us a pool that she went to. It had a lift chair, so it had an access chair, but you can't access the chair. There's no way that a person of size could get into the little blocked off area to get into the chair. Then she also showed us that inside the dressing rooms, if you're using the dressing room, make sure that the benches aren't just bolted to the wall,
Mm.
because that can, you can cause a fall that way. So please, when you use the pool, take good care and look around to make sure you have space, you have what you need to be able to use that pool. And if you have any questions, I'm sure Fiona will have to answer. It says, here's another thing she says.
Mm.
Also ask if the pool has disabled wheelchair mobility rates. Mine is only $1.50 instead of 4. So she can use um, the the wheelchair mobile for the disabled wheelchair mobility rate. So here's the thing Catherine found, and I feel like I'm telling stories on people, but Catherine has shared with us that she was unable to park in the handicap space and then walk to the pool. She could walk into the building, but it was just that much further to the pool, right? And
Mm-hmm.
she wasn't able to make the entire walk to the pool. So someone told her call about it and see what's going on. So now they have a special space in the back where she parks. She calls the desk, and the desk has someone come over and open that emergency door. So she goes right from her car into the pool area. So she can park behind the pool rather than in the front part of the building. Some pools have a kiddie slant slope, and if they don't have good steps for you, they might have a kiddie slant slope. But please be careful going down that kiddie slant slope, right? Because one more time, we might have to have we might have to have our pool shoes on that have some grip. Um, this is another question that came up. What about trying to get your leg over your tub to take a shower? So, for if all you have in your house is a shower that's inside a tub shower, there are seats that you can put on the tub and on the outside the tub that'll have a that have a like a sliding seat that you can slide. You can slide, lift your leg up, and lift your leg up. Now you would at that point be sitting down. You wouldn't be sitting in, but you'd be sitting above the tub. But if you're needing to take a shower and standing up, I would suggest to make sure that you have something to hang on to. If you can, they have handrails. But not only that, I know with Aunt Sandy, we got her walker situated so she could use both hands. At the same time, we got her walkers gotten in there steady. But so many of us live in houses that we lived in easily 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and now their houses aren't as accessible. Our tubs, because we have bathtubs, right? Or um, maybe our toilets, maybe it's too small now in our bathrooms, and that's an issue. Um, so Sandra says, can you get a seat that lets you slide over the tub? Ask a place that sells medical supplies, right? Like a like a um, like Norco and places like that. Any durable medical equipment provider might have one of those um, that carries those seats. And then, so there's a lot. Check out our chat. There's so much information. Fiona says a lot of hotels have barriers to showering over baths. Look for mobility rooms or wet bathrooms. So yeah, there's so many things that our community members have discovered. So we come on here and we talk about things. Keep track of the chat because the community members are here telling you what they do. Dr. Carmody, he's our medical advisor for Lipedema Simplified. He always says that wisdom is patient, and we are a community of patients, and so wisdom is in the community.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been
And Sing It said this was an amazing session, which is perhaps a hint to remind us that we've been on for nearly an hour.
that it
And this
was
is supposed to be what, 20 minutes or so. But Catherine said, "Oh, you and Gail can do it. You'll be fine." And she didn't think at all about the fact that when Gail and I get together, we'll just talk and talk and talk and talk. So I'm gonna call it here. Sing It Said Never. Well, I'll take it as the
Okay,
hint it
okay.
should be.
But before we go, seriously, I'm going to challenge everybody out here. If you can find the button that is either a thumbs up or a heart, I only have 8 thumbs ups and hearts. Now I know that on YouTube you give a thumbs up. And I know on Facebook you can give a heart. And if you're on LinkedIn, I don't know, I think you give a thumbs up. Wherever you are, whatever platform you're watching us from, I want to see how many hearts and thumbs ups we can get at the top, not in the chat. I'm talking about in the video itself. 10, I'm up to 10 now. Come on, give me more, give me more. I'm waiting. 11. Come on, you guys, find it. You can find that button. Maybe not. Okay, so so this is what I want you to do. 12. This is what I want you to do. If you like this video, and now I'm sounding like
Now you're
a
sounding like
podcast.
a YouTuber. Smash that like button.
Yeah, smash the like button. No, seriously, if you like this video, watch it again. All you've got to do is go back to the same link that you came here from. The replays will be here instantly. If you love it, share it. Share it on your Facebook, share it on your Instagram, share it on your LinkedIn, wherever you share stuff on your social media. Like us and share it. We really need to get our word out. You need to get our word out. We need to get your word out. That's why we're here together. I'm still got 12. And of course, Vicki Newsom gave us a bunch of hearts in the chat. So did Sing. Anyways, it was wonderful being with you guys today. Remember, if there's anything that you need, if you haven't written down one of our email addresses, if you don't know our website, just come back here. We give you all kinds of info. And with that, my lovely mine. Okay, you're mine again. Our lovely audience. Here's the other one, calendar events. Don't forget to go there. I got dogs and kids screaming in the background. Sorry. Siobhan had sirens and horns, and I have dogs and kids. We love you guys. Thank you for letting us spend an hour with you today. And we will be back. Catherine's on Sundays. Catherine and Lisa are on Mondays. I'm on Tuesdays. Leslyn's on Thursdays, and we're on Fridays. You can never get away from us. We love you, and we'll be talking to you soon. Bye-bye.